In October 2018, I ran 167 miles across the entire country of Liberia, from the Liberia-Guinea border to the beaches in Monrovia, the capital of Liberia. It was about a marathon a day for a week. I made this run for multiple reasons: to experience the oneness of the human community, of our human family, to experience this land that has gone through hell. Liberia as a nation has suffered through Ebola, through a brutal civil war, through extreme poverty, and I wanted to experience this land and its people, and it was a tremendous experience in many ways. I was also using this run to help raise funds to build the first sustainable vocational training school in post-war Liberia. Now, starting the run, running through these small towns and villages right from day one, I got stared at a lot. As you might imagine, I look a little different than everybody in Liberia. Not to mention, it's not often they're seeing some clown running behind a car. In fact, one of the funny things that happened, people would say, "There's a car right there. Why doesn't he just get in the car? What is he, an idiot?" So it was pretty funny. So I got stared at a lot, but not out of hostility, out of curiosity. And as a result, people were curious. So often people would run with me. They'd run along with me for little chunks of the run while I was covering about a marathon a day for 7 days. And more often than not, the people who would run with me were kids. Day one of the run, these two kids, Blessing and Emmanuel, started running with me. You can see a picture of them right here. We started chatting, and they were telling me a little bit about their story. Blessing, he lost his mother in the war, and his father had left. Blessing wanted to go to medical school, and the other one wanted to go to vocational training school. Blessing was now living with Emmanuel in a little village in Liberia near the Guinea border. The odds of them actually going to medical school and the vocational training school, the path that they wanted to follow, were extremely, extremely low. And as I was pondering this, continuing my run and later on to that day, I started thinking to myself, what's the difference between me and those two kids? I was born to a family that loved me in India, very well off, good life experience, couldn't have asked for more. And they happened to be born where they were born. Why? I don't have these answers to the questions. I have no idea, and I've struggled with that for a long time. What have I done to deserve this life? What have I done? I was born where I was born. Blessing and Emmanuel were born where they were born. As so many people all over the world in our human family suffer more than we could possibly fathom. I wasn't special to be born here, so why do I get this? I've struggled with this realization and ultimately with being happy for a long time. A few months after this run, I then spent 7 days in pitch darkness, isolation, and silence to confront my fear of stillness. Now, this is a continuation of the darkness series videos that I am sharing. In the first 3 videos, I talked about why I went into the darkness retreat, the logistics of life in the darkness, and the most profound part of my experience at the darkness retreat. And in this video, I want to share something from my darkness journal. So this was my darkness journal. While in the darkness retreat, I would write in here, and people inevitably have asked, how did you write in the dark? Because it was pitch dark. You can't see your hand in front of you. I would use sort of a ruler, like another notebook, and hold it like this, write, and then move it down, write again. Of course, I was not in the lines, but for the most part, it was legible. Although one day I accidentally wrote over myself, so that page I could not read anything. But thankfully it hit me in the dark, and I was like, okay, let me just move 2 pages on and start again. So I got a lot from the experience, and a lot came through in this darkness journal. But what I want to share in this video ties into the realization that I had not just in Liberia, but since my coming back from the war, losing a friend to war, 2 junior Marines I know have taken their own life, and I see so much pain and suffering. I've worked in places of extreme poverty, in leper colonies in India, even in Liberia. After the 1-week run, we did 2 weeks of humanitarian work out there with this amazing group. They were filming a documentary called Awakening Giants. And we worked with people who are suffering through extreme poverty, worked with former child soldiers who've witnessed their entire family being killed. One guy, he shared a story about how he, and I quote, saw his girlfriend raped to death. It's unfathomable. It's unfathomable. And you see this pain. We also worked with these young kids who were drug addicts in the ghetto out there. And some of them were sharing the violence they've seen as kids, the horrors they've seen. is jarring, and you could see the pain in their eyes. I remember one kid, as he shared, we were talking with them, and he shared with me the red in his eyes and the pain in his eyes as he said, the past is dangerous. And that's why he was taking drugs, to run away from his demons. And God knows I get it. God knows I get it. I've been there. But it's intense experiencing this. I've also worked with these young girls who are victims of sex trafficking. I mean, what they go through is horrific. So when I see all of this, I wonder, why do I get to be happy? What have I done to deserve it? So I want to share a little bit about some of the realizations I got around this in the darkness retreat, and hopefully this might be of value to you and might help you on your own journey to happiness and in life, whatever you might be struggling with. Joy doesn't mean the death of the eye of the tiger. You can be happy too, you dumbass. Joy and intensity can coexist as one. Joy doesn't have to be the death of drive. So a little context about that, and I'm going to share another section that I wrote a little later into the darkness retreat about happiness, but a little context there. I've always perceived that in order to be successful at anything, as an ultra runner, business, author, I need to be intense. I need to be driven. And somehow drive and joy were opposites, that I can't enjoy the journey if I do, it's somehow losing my drive. It's somehow losing my intensity. Clearly not the case. I'm not saying I was right about that, hence some of these realizations. But as I delved deeper into this throughout the 7 days in the darkness, I then started to go a little deeper into my own struggles with feeling like I get to be happy and why do I deserve this? And this is some of the other stuff that came to me. Happiness is the answer. I do everything with joy and happiness. Like Tom Brady said, he loves what he does. That's why he takes no days off, because he loves it. Same with Stephen Curry. He enjoys what he does. Bring joy to everything and you won't feel the need to drink. When you picture yourself happy in those triggering scenarios, then you don't feel the need to drink. Remember that. You must embrace the dark and the intensity, but that can and must coexist with the joy. Be playful, be fun, be light. Bring joy to darkness and darkness to joy. They must coexist. I understand why you feel guilty for being happy, and I think it is a beautiful symbol of your desire to serve and make a difference in the world. But that is what led you to breaking your sobriety and feeling the need to. Inevitably, you're going to get burned out and just want to cut loose. But it's on you to be happy, because if you're happy, you can get more done. Think of happiness as service fuel, if you will. You being happy or sad is not going to change the fact that people are suffering in the world. But you being happy will give you greater ability to do something about it. So be happy in service of those you want to make a difference for. This does not mean you let go of guilt or the need to earn your place on this planet. It simply means you sprinkle lots of joy to the doing so the doing gets done. But you never fucking forget why you are here. Never forget people are in pain and it's on you to do something about that. Do not wear this as a cross to bear, for it will only break you. But hold on to this responsibility with a smile, for it is your gift, your blessing that you get to do this work. So smile and enjoy the ride. If you are happy, you won't need those dopamine rushes with alcohol, and you won't need anything to take a break from, because the whole journey is fun. So there will be nothing to want to run away from. You get one life, and you are one that is part of the millions. So you matter. This one life matters. So enjoy the ride. Love the journey. This is everything. So to give some context about why I mentioned drinking a lot in there, I had actually broken my sobriety a few months, I don't know the exact time frame now, before going into the dark. I went through a fairly challenging divorce that year, and I went into some dark places and broke my sobriety. That's not the entire point, but I just wanted to give some context as to why I referenced that. And that's actually why I was delving into the darkness and wanted to go deeper within, because clearly something was missing which had me break my sobriety. So I needed to understand it. And that was some of the realizations I came to. Now, I don't know right or wrong about this, and I know fundamentally a lot of people disagree with me about this, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong. We all have our path, and if this perspective, if a way of being, if a lens to the world, a perspective helps you move forward on that path with greater joy, use it. But I believe that the things we have, the privileges we've been blessed with, the luxuries we have, are not a right. They are a luxury that needs to be earned. One of my friends and a student in one of my courses, she called it a debt to the universe. She was sharing with me how she too was born in a great life, has always lived a great life, great parents, loving parents, has just had and experienced a lot of beauty in life, and she called it a debt to the universe that she feels like she must pay through the work she now does. I really liked that term. I thought it was very profound. And so to me, I believe this life must be earned. I believe the things that I've been gifted, they have to be earned by using the life that I have now in responsibility. It's a responsibility in service of others, to share what I've learned, to help bring people, help people transcend their own suffering, bring them not just out of the darkness, but to embrace the darkness and into the light, to experience the light and transcend their suffering. So in my words, my personal mission is to inspire, empower, and train my human family to transcend suffering in order to live their legend and experience boundless bliss. That's my mission. That's what I'm here to do now. And I do believe it's a responsibility. I believe life must be earned. So I'm seeking it. That's why I do what I do. But we can all be happy on the journey. So I've struggled with my desire to be happy, with the feeling of being happy, because I felt like I didn't deserve it. I still go through moments like that when I see pain, when I think about those I've lost, and I'll share more about that in another video. So I still wrestle with some of these things. But it's a muscle I'm getting much stronger at now, is to practice joy, practice happiness. Because the darkness must coexist with the light, and I'm going to share more about that in the next video, about how light and dark can coexist as one. But I hope this was of value to you. I invite you to just remember that you are worthy. You matter. You matter. No matter how many lives you touch, whether it's 1 million or even just one other life, we all matter, and we make a difference for ourselves, we make a difference for others through our presence here on earth. And this duality that I shared in the last line there, where I talk about, let's see where I read from that. Yeah, you get one life, and you are one that is part of the millions, so you matter. This one life matters, so enjoy the ride. You matter. We're all in this journey together. We're all a big one human family, and you matter. Take care. If you have any questions for me about anything I shared in this video, please feel free to post them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to check in from time to time and answer those questions. I'll either answer them directly in the comments, or if it's something that really requires me going deep into a particular topic, I'll shoot another video about it, so hopefully we can all benefit from it. And if you want to continue joining me on this journey into the darkness, subscribe to the Fearvana channel, and I'll be sharing a lot more about my experience in the darkness, my darkness journal, and more importantly, the lessons I learned, so hopefully you can get some value out of them and apply them in your own life as you continue to seek out a life of boundless bliss. And beyond just my experiences in the darkness retreat on the Fearvana channel, I'll be sharing a lot of what I've learned along the way in my life through researching neuroscience, psychology, spirituality, as well as just all my life experience and working with many people from all walks of life and studying mastery in all contexts. I'll be sharing a lot more lessons about how we can ultimately find, live, and love our purpose, or what I like to call our worthy struggle, because that's everything, right? If we can find, live, and love our worthy struggle, that's what makes life beautiful. That's what gives us access to a lifetime of boundless bliss. So join me on this journey. It'd be an honor to have you. And seek out that darkness, celebrate the darkness, embrace the darkness. Memento mori, my friend.